Hello YouTube, today we are going to be troubleshooting this R210 because at the moment Plex is running on the IBM, what's this, X20350 Model 2, and it's just getting, it just draws a lot of power. It's DDR2 and all that, and it only has a dual core, so transcoding is not really an option on it. So I'd really like to move it to the R210, but obviously the R210's got some issues. It stopped working for me while being my router one day, so just cut it out, and then I had to move to this ultra light. But it's going. It's also fired back up one day, so I tried, when it broke down I did some stuff, you know, pulled out the RAM sticks and everything, nothing worked. I just threw it back in the rack to store it, and yeah, then one day, I think after the rebuild, I was in here plugging everything in, and I just plugged it in for the hell of it, and it actually booted up and worked. It just had a RAM error, I believe, the first time. It said like some slots not detected or something, or that, and then it booted up again fine the second time, and the third time, and then I don't think I've touched it again for a wee while, until now. I got two 500 gig WD Blues, that same type of drivers in here, so I can put the Plex on there. But when I went to boot it up now, what happens is turn on the screen, boot it up, switch that. As you can see, nothing happens, so yeah, there's definitely something wrong with it. The fans don't ramp down after the fact. In the iDRAC, I believe it actually said there wasn't anything wrong with it, but yeah, here we have 1 and 4, and then the orange light. The orange light is just well, it was originally from a dead fan. I have a dead fan inside here. I think fan 2's dead. I need to replace it. But yeah, it's having some weird things. So 1 and 4 normally indicates a motherboard issue, except because of the original, when I booted up, RAM issue. That kind of leads me to believe that it is a RAM issue, because if you have incompatible RAM in it, or a incompatible CPU or something, it will also give that error. Now, I obviously had this working and it just stopped one day, so it's not incompatible. It's just if it's failed in a way that makes it seem incompatible or anything. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull this inside, and we're going to basically start stripping everything out of it, go through all the basic troubleshooting, and all that. I don't have another server that I can test the CPU and RAM in it, because the RAM is unbuffered ECC, which is really expensive. That's something to consider if you're thinking of getting one of these. And it also means it doesn't work in like bigger servers, so like the R210 or anything like that. Obviously it's DDR3, so it won't work in these two, all my other ones. But yeah, so, and same deal with the CPU. I also don't want to pull this out of production, even if it could take it. Probably could on the CPU, but yeah. So yeah, we're gonna pull this out. We're gonna come back here. Well, we're gonna pull it out, and we're gonna see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. So yeah, see you soon. So we have it on my desk. As usual, my desk is a bit of a mess. Oh, this thing is stiff to open. Oh. Inside the lid, I like how Dell, and actually probably the other major manufacturers do this. I know IBM does. I've never owned an HP, so can't vouch for them, but yep. So here's the server. This is the dead fan, so yeah, as you can see, it's got some well, you can't see it, but it's got some splotches of something in there, and it's all super gunked up and everything. Yeah, this fan's dead. I think I haven't none which is which, but I've replaced 3 fans in the server or 2 fans, and this one's dead. So I've had 3 dead fans in the server since I've got it. So, but I mean, it was free, so the server is quite dirty. You know, because this is my oldest server. I'm just gonna remove kind of everything. So this is the 4-port Intel Gigabit NIC. Well, yeah, these are the hard drives that I'm going to put in here. Just a couple of WD Caviar Blues. I got them from school. And there's just 250 gig enterprise drives in here. What I'm going to do is this is going to be the new Plex server, and then the old Plex server is going to be a backup server, so it doesn't have to be turned on once a month, because I actually have a predicted failure on one of my hard drives in the R210. But as they're like $100 each, I don't really have the cash right now to replace it, and it isn't dead yet, so I'm just gonna hopefully back up the data on that, and if it dies, I might just go to SSDs, because it's not that much more expensive to go to SSDs than just to buy another hard drive. So this should be the bare minimum. We'll plug this in and boot it up. So I just plugged it in and automatically booted up. So, it's being really loud because the cover isn't on. But there's no display so far, but I have a different error. So I'll put the cover on and then we can actually hear ourselves. Oh, we have a boot screen. So the error is not the motherboard, which is good because that would be expensive to replace. So yep, 1 gig, which is what we want to see. Which is I don't have a keyboard plugged in. Amount of memory has changed. Nothing's plugged in. So yep, this works. Also, yeah. So one of these parts has an issue. So what we're going to do is we're just going to probably time lapse this and cue you in on the interesting bits, but we're just going to go through this and see what's wrong with it. So these sticks appear to be all good, so the system boots up and shows the correct amount of memory and the correct speed. I think it's the correct speed? Yeah, it should be. Anyway, they showed all the same speed, which is good because I do want 4 gigs of RAM in this thing because we're going to be running Windows. So what I'm really hoping, best case scenario, is it's either like one of the iDRACs or this card, because these things I can get pretty cheap. If it was the RAM, the CPU, or the motherboard, that is going to be more expensive, and it's probably worth just buying another server for this. So yeah, I'm hoping it is one of these cards, but it could still be that one of these slots is bad on this motherboard. So yeah, if it is, it might mean we're only running like Plex and Windows with 3 gigs or whatever, which could be problematic. So I'll just have to test it out, see how it goes. So yeah, I'm going to throw first just the recommended 2 sticks in here. We'll dual channel, and then I'll go all 4 sticks, and we'll see what that gets us. So yep, back to the time lapse. So that boot showed up all 4 sticks, so that is a great sign. Obviously, when we do load Windows onto this, we will be running some pretty, thorough tests or whatever. I'll get up the old mem test, all that. So now I'm going to start plugging in this stuff one by one. So we've verified that this all works. I'll just start plugging in like the cards and the hard drives and that, just to see what is the issue. I do hope there is actually an issue with one of them. Best case scenario, would it be this card, because I can get these cheap or free, and then these, but yeah, so that's the deal. So back to the time lapse. So focus. Boots up with that in there, and this iDraken. So it boots up fine. Everything shows up as it should. I'm now going to add this card in. So this is actually obviously a little bit worrying that it boots up fine, because I'd obviously rather well, not obviously, but I'd actually rather like it did something small than nothing did, because that means the problem might come back or something, or it could always have been like a dodgy connection on a RAM stick or something, or in one of these, but yeah, so we're just gonna go for boot. Sweet, so we have it booted up. It's I'll just go through and test everything. So 4 gigs of RAM, it's all fine so far. We'll just Control E, make sure everything's showing up. I can't really test that the card is showing up. Control E. So yep, this is everything that should be showing up. As you've probably seen, I do actually need to update the BIOS. Whoop. We'll turn that off. So yeah, nothing appears to be dead, but I still haven't plugged in the hard drive, so we'll do that now, and we'll do our final kind of boot up. So kind of worryingly, it appears to boot up correctly with everything in it. So yeah, it could always have been a loose connection. But anyway, we're now going to I'll end the video and I'll start my next video on setting up Windows and that on this and then Plex. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to see more videos like this, and yeah, see you next time.